Tank, do you think this is a game that the Cowboys are really going to dominate? They're laying 5.5 points here, and that total is set right now at 46.5.
See, I'm glad you came to me early in the show to kind of give a preview of this game because now I could talk about something a little bit more psychological. So
Yeah.
I was trying to tell my wife how the Kardashians became as popular as they are, and I was like,
Oh, we're bringing
it's
in the
kind of how the Dallas.
real TV.
Yeah, I'm like it's kind of like how the Cowboys are the most valuable team in the world because why? All we do is hear Jerry Jones in front of a radio station or in front of a TV camera almost on a daily basis, talking up specific players, talking up his team, just talking up narratives. And
Mhm.
so they're always in the eye. And so then there's always this attention on them, which creates all the value for the team, right? But now also with all that coverage comes pressure. You're talking about the pressure that the Eagles feel going against the Cowboys defense. I'm going to talk about the pressure that the Cowboys feel by the owner always having them in the limelight, in the spotlight, and now they have to face a Philadelphia Eagles team who's still talented as hell, that's coming down the Jerry world, and they're playing with that backup quarterback who literally they don't have a damn thing to lose. Like they're pretty much going to sew up the NFC and get the bye regardless. So they're going to come down here and say, hey, like we don't have anything to lose. Like if we go down there and beat the Cowboys, it's a win, and if the Cowboys beat us, then that's what's expected because we're going on there with our backup quarterback anyway. So who's the pressure on?
Mhm.
The pressure's on Dak.
Mhm.
The pressure's on that Cowboys defense that's been giving up chunk plays to teams like the Texans, and the Jaguars are a lot better than the Texans. But man, my guy Trevor Lawrence Sunshine was looking like Peyton Manning out there last week. And we talked about how Michael Parsons and those guys were overlooking the Jaguars and had their eyes
Yeah.
squarely set here in Philadelphia. Well, oh, all of a sudden we're here now. And now you have to face A.J. Brown. You have to face Devontae Smith, all these other guys. And even though we have the mustache back there instead of who I think is the MVP, he still should be able to kind of function that offense and execute and be efficient and put some points on the board. So if this game is close at the end of the first half, if this game is close in the third quarter, I think some butts gonna start to tighten a little bit. And boy, if the Cowboys lose this game, it's gonna be worse than if Tom Brady would have somehow, some way lose to the Arizona Cardinals. If the Cowboys
Mm.
lose this game to Philadelphia with their backup quarterback, regardless of Philadelphia being the better team, all hell is gonna break loose on all the major networks, all on social media. That's gonna be the only thing you hear. And honestly, I'm not a Cowboys hater, but I will be there for it with my cocktail in
Yeah.
my hand.
It is crazy. First of all, Gardner Minshew, his mustache is elite, I will say. 12 out of 10 for the stash. I'm not a big stash, like pure stash fan, but I'm a fan of Gardner
Yeah.
Minshew's stash for some
Yeah,
reason.
it has
But
nice
this line
body.
move,
Yeah, nice little shine.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, it's fluffy, it's like thick. It's a nice mustache. But this line move, it is all about Hurts' health. Without him, though, Jared, they still have Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, who,
Yeah.
guess what, all scored a touchdown last time out against Dallas. Could the Eagles maybe sneak in here and get a win on the road as a road dog?
Yeah, I absolutely wouldn't put it past Philly to come in here and win this game.
Hmm.
Gardner Minshew's numbers were good last year. Limited time. I remember the game against the Jets vividly. It crushed my soul. But he was good against the Jets, and he had a +3
Sorry.
on his completion rate over expectation, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, go watch the tape of that game. He was unbelievable. The Dallas defense, though, is formidable, and top pressure rate, middle of the road blitz rate. And again, we talk about that a lot, that gap, that delta between your blitz rate and your pressure rate. The teams that can
Yeah.
generate pressure without committing the extra personnel in the box are the teams that I take very seriously. That's what Dallas is. So we'll see how Gardner Minshew holds up there. I mean, listen, the Eagles' offensive line's elite, so I think they'll be okay. But who knows? Maybe there's some happy feet going on with Micah Parsons chasing you down. I certainly would get some happy feet if that man was chasing me down. I know that. So that's the
Me too.
one thing to watch on one end. And another thing about Dallas' defense that I really like, besides their secondary that's banged up right now, they are a top unit across the board in both categories. So they're top 5 against the pass, top 10 against the run, a little weaker against the run. Maybe that's where Philly has a bit of an edge here because they've got an offensive line that can kind of bulldoze you. But the Cowboys are the best red zone DVOA team in the NFL. they hold teams to 3 instead of 7. And again, with Gardner Minshew, first game, the red zone packages are usually the toughest sub packages to kind of absorb on short weeks. That's where I think Dallas might have another hidden edge. Maybe those touchdown drives or field goal drives instead, and the Cowboys can kind of get on the front foot there. On the other side of the ball, listen, Dak Prescott has to play better. He's thrown 10 picks in the last X amount of games. I mean, it's been really, it's been a struggle for him this year. And the turnover worthy plays are up. Against the blitz, numbers are down. It's just, I don't know if it's efficiency, but regardless, in the 8 games that he's been back in the lineup since the injury, 24, 49, 28, 40, 28, 54, 27, 34. So they haven't had a game with less than 24 points, and that low mark was his first game back. And I think this Eagles defense, they're a very aggressive ball hawking secondary, but I think they're going to be obviously up for this game, but I could also see the weapons of Dallas, especially the running game. That's where Philly struggles a little bit. Joseph and Sue haven't been as good since they came over in that free agent move. And Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox have graded out below expectation. On the outside, Sweat and Reddick are studs. We'll see what the offensive line looks like there. We had Smith come back last week, play his first game since the injury. 3 pressures, not bad. Jason Peters also got some time too. So we'll see what the offensive line alignment looks like. But at 5, there's no way I'm betting Dallas. At 3, I bet Dallas. At 6, I bet Philly. And that's kind of the range we've seen this line hover in between.